This will look at selling bonds at a discount using the straight line method. So contract rate to market. If contract rate of your bond indenture equals the market rate, it will sell at par. If it's greater than market, it'll sell at a premium. If it's less, at a discount. But why? What's going to drive the price up or down? So looking at difference between issuing at a discount or a premium, you have to first think of the demand for your product in the stock market. The contract is what you pay, and the market is what the stock market demand, what it sells for, what the market is willing to pay for your product. Now, this is a very simplified method of looking at this because actually there's a little more to it. So think principal and interest. The principal is a one-time payment in the future. The interest is a recurring payment, but it's also a future amount. So what are these worth today? Now we can say it's stock market demand, and that does play into it, but it's not the same as stock market demand for stocks. With bonds, the price is always the present value of future cash flows, and that present value will vary based on the current market rate of interest. So just start out by thinking stock market demand. What price is the market demanding? But do remember, in reality, it all has to do with the interest rate and that present value of future cash flows. So we'll look at an example. Market rate of 10, compounded semi-annually, 10-year bond. So if it's a 10-year bond, compounds twice a year, N will be 20, I will be 5, because interest is always stated annually. So how do we price this bond? You can see it's sold at a discount because your bond is paying 8%, other bonds out there are paying 10%. So the price is discounted. And when you run the math with the present value of future cash flows, this is the calculation, how the price is set. Total discount, $12,462. Remember, the contract determines N, market determines I when you're looking at the table values. And this is the initial journal entry. Discount on bonds payable is a contra liability, opposite normal balance of bonds payable. And what do we do with this? Well, we have to amortize it. Now, in accounting principles, usually you're taught the straight line method only. In intermediate, usually learn the effective interest method with a comparison to the straight line method. And the effective interest method really is the preferred method, but the straight line is allowed for cost effectiveness. So straight line method, life of the bond, 10 years, compounds semi-annually. The total discount, how many compounding periods if it's semi-annually? 20. You simply take the total discount, divide it by the compound periods. And with these large amounts, it's best to round to the nearest dollar. So here is your journal entry. Notice that your interest expense includes that discount amortization, which means your tax deduction is $623 higher than your actual cash that you have to pay. But with a straight line, your journal entries are identical every 6 months. They do not change. Again, same journal entries. Doesn't change as it does with the effective interest method. And then finally, when the bond matures, you take it off the books. Debit bonds payable and pay the $100,000. So carrying value, how you see it changes. In 2016, the original was $87,538, but it needs to equal face value, $100,000, and you do that through amortization of that discount. Notice the carrying value gradually increases until it matures. Discount on bonds payable, the key is it's a contra liability. It decreases the carrying value of the bond. Now looking at a comparison of running the numbers, if contract equals market, it will sell at its face value or par value. And if you run the present value of those future cash flows, it will come out that way. That's how the price of a bond is set. Your table values change if the market value is different than contract. Notice this is a discount. You use different table values because now you're using a market rate of 10 or an I of 5, where when it sold at par, market rate was 8 and you used 4 and contract was 8. So another way to remember this, keep in mind, if your bonds are paying 8%, but market is 10, that means there are other bonds out there paying more cash interest, which means yours will sell for a lower price or a discount. Contract equals market, sells at par. When it's lower, it sells at a discount.